Hi everyone, in this video we will see how on page load we can autofocus a OTP type input on page load using external JavaScript. So in this video we will learn about data type and functions as well, how we can write JavaScript in Bubble and integrate with it. In previous two videos we have seen that how you can use external JavaScript and custom CSS in your Bubble app, how you can integrate it, and how you can use separate variables like HTML elements. We can also use HTML headers in meta tag as well. So in this video my main goal is to teach you how you can achieve this using external JavaScript. So let's get started. Okay, so I have opened a folder in VS Code. VS Code is basically a code editor. You can use any type of editor. You can write here VS Code and you can search and you can download it. Okay, so I already downloaded it, and so let me create a file. So basically what we will do is anytime we need to run external JavaScript, we will create a new folder, we will add HTML and CSS file locally and test it, and once all the things is done, we can take the JavaScript out and put in the Bubble editor. So that's how our workflow will do. So first of all I have to create a HTML element. So let's name it index.html, and if you put exclamation mark and tab, then it will autocomplete it with basic HTML file. So just add OTP input, anything here, and then we also need a JavaScript file, as I said, because our main work is with JavaScript. So let's add script.js, and you can add alert1 to see that if it is working linked or not. Save this file, and now we have to link the JavaScript file into this in HTML file. How I will do that? Just write script src and then press enter, and then you have to put the script tag. So I will put like dot slash, and then it will give me the script file. So just select it. So now this script is linked. Okay, how we will know that if it is script is linked or not? Just save it, and then you have to install a plugin, a extension in VS Code. So just search live server if you are not already using it. So live server, and then you can here you can install it. I already installed it. So let click here this option, and it will open this HTML file inside a port number 5500. So just click OK, and then you can see that already have the alert one that I added from the JavaScript file. So it is already working. That means script linked is already working. I can add anything in JavaScript. So you remember our main in the main project, if I show you, we have the 4 input element. So let's just recreate it in our HTML file, so that we know that all the things are working that we are using. So let's see. So this is our HTML file. So just add input, and we are using a number. So if you type like that, it will create an input with type number. I hope you already know this. If you not, you can search HTML tutorial, you can get enough context around that. So just if we type here and we can save, then it will just let me delete this alert. So see, this is creating a native HTML input element by this line. Now we need 4 of them for each for each input. We have 4 input for each OTP number. So let's just duplicate 4 times. Okay, so now the text is large, so we can add a class into it, and we can style it that input, and we can give is less width. So let's see how we can do that. So for example, we can add class, and we can add a class. So let's say OTP input. For ID, you can just write ID is equal to, okay, but because as I said that for one HTML page, one ID should be unique per page, so we need same number of class and id in the input file. That is why we need class instead of id. So OTP input, so this is for OTP input. If I save it, nothing will change because we just added a class onto it. We are not doing anything with that class. So for now I can add a style tag inside a head element, so style, and we can select the OTP. You remember from the previous video I said that if we need to select the class we need to use dot, and if we need to select the id you need to use hash. So this is class, so we can select with dot. So dot OTP input, and we can say with let's say 40 pixel. So the input is now smaller. Let me just increase the so that you can see this. Okay, now this is the for element. What I need that whenever I refresh, this should autofocus this element. Now before that we need to know some JavaScript, because currently you only see one line of statement, that is alert. So alert is basically showing any pop-up like this. We can add anything here, you can add any text also here. Okay, so that is one. Secondly is we have to know that how we can store data inside JavaScript. In Bubble we store data like in custom state, we store any data in the front end. Similarly similarly we can store data here in a variable. So let's talk about the variables first. So we have 3 keywords to create a variable in JavaScript. One is let. So let's say I name the variable my variable, and we can just assign to any number or any text, anything. So for now this is 10, so 10, this is a number basically. And also by double slash I can add inline comment. If you want multi-line comment you can add slash star, and then you can add anything and then start slash. So basically in Bubble we have concept of comment that you add, right? So that does not do anything, just to give more context to the code. So that is it is using. So okay, so this is the number. We can also add my text, and that can be a text as well. So this is type of text in Bubble equivalent, and we can add, let's say, boolean. So boolean, this is true, or we can write false. So this is yes and no things that we use. This is corresponding to the yes no feature in Bubble. So yes is basically true and no is basically false. So here it is false, that means it is no, equivalent to no. So this is my bool, and this is in coding it's called boolean. Okay, so we also has my date. We can also can store date, that we can easily store in Bubble as well. So for now we can add new date. Okay, so it will return a new date component of current date basically. So this is type of date. So these are the various types. Also we have arrays, so that is the list of things that we do in Bubble. So for example text list, so we can do like this, my list 1, or let's say apple, banana. Okay, so this is a list of text. So we can similarly add list of number 10, 20. Now you already know this in Bubble, because this is like the name of the custom state, and this is the value of the custom state. Okay, so you know this already concept because you already using this in Bubble. Just some terminologies are different, otherwise the concept is same here as well. Okay, we also have let's say we are assigning with a null, and we also have undefined. So in JavaScript empty content is defined by these two types. There are slightly different concept in undefined and null. Basically undefined means that the variable or the custom state is not defined, and null means this is empty. So in Bubble this is we use as a text type, that is empty. This is not used, this is basically used only in JavaScript, so we are not using in bubble. Basically bubble does not allow to set it as a undefined, so you only need this type of data type as well. Okay, now after array we also can define a object. So basically let me show you. So this is an object. We can add a key value pair. For example, we can use country, let's say we can add USA, we can add, let's say, currency, this is USD. So like that, basically the concept is that you are doing a key value pair things. In list we are adding the list of text extra one by one. Here we are defining a key value pair. So this is something you might not seen in bubble, but if you used JSON format, so this is similar to JSON basically. Okay, so now after that you've seen that we are using let in all the time. So let is basically to define a variable. So the format is let and then the variable name and then is equal to and then equal to the value. Okay, this is. Now we also can use const, and const, let's say c is equal to 10. Now the difference between let and const is this is a constant. So in letter, let's say a is equal to null, we can change the variable to a is equal to 10, let's say. That is a valid JavaScript. But if I set anything in constant mode, then we can't set 20. It will give error in JavaScript. So if I show you, if we right click and inspect, then you can see I have error, assignment to constant variable. So this is the line where I am getting the error. Okay, error is assignment to constant variable. So we can't change a constant. But if I just delete this line, this a is perfectly valid code. See, no error is there because a is equal to 10, a is equal to null. It is valid because let allow you to re-initialize the variable. Okay, now we also can assign a variable is using var. So let's say var d is equal to some text or something like that. This is also a valid JavaScript, and we can also reassign the variable. So let's say a is equal to changed variable. Okay, so if I type here d, so it will give me the latest value. This is change variable last value. So this is also valid. Now I say that what is the difference between let and var now. So the thing is, var is used in older JavaScript. In newer JavaScript we have concept of let and const. So in older browser, let's say in Internet Explorer, this let and const might not work. You might need to use var. So this is like to using some older version of browser. You don't need to use var actually, because you know we in today's world we are using newer version of browser, so you don't need to use var actually. You can use let or const. Okay, so that's of it. Now we have to understand the use case of function. Now functions are similar to you can say custom event. So custom event has a parameters. We have a lot of, we can have one or more parameters. We can have a return value. So basically what the use case of custom event in bubble is, you can pass some input as a parameter to the custom event. Custom event will do some of the things that it need to, and at the end of this it can return some data. So function in JavaScript is same concept based on the custom event. So let me show you how you can create a function. So first I will show you how newer approach to create a function, and then I will show you how old way we can create in function. So basically in newer JavaScript we use, let's say, const my function is equal to, and we do bracket is equal to and equal to sign, and then angle bracket, and then curly braces, and then we can add data here. Now let's add one example here. So this is a, let's say, sum function. What the use case of this function is, it will take two input and it will try to give one output, which is sum of the total of the two number. So let's see. So sum, I added the name of the function is sum. So sum will take a and b, and then we will return a plus b. Now let's see what is done and how it will work. So this is const sum. So you seen that anything we have to define, we have to use something let or const, the name of the variable, and then equal to and the value of the variable. So here the const sum is equal to, and this is the value of the function. So function is using, it takes the parameter inside a bracket separated by comma, and you can write this factor function, which is consistent of equal to and greater than sign, and then the curly braces, we can write the code under curly braces. So this is parameters, this is body of the function, and this is after return we can write the returned value. Okay, now in JavaScript you can only return a one value only, or you can return one value, but it can consist of as a object. So if you want to return two values, then you can add under curly braces and you can write value 1 and value 2 here, like that. Okay, now let's see how we can call it, because this is a custom event, you are not using it, you are not triggering it. So how we can trigger it, let's see. So sum, and then we can use 1 comma 2. So this will return 3. If we save it, then nothing will print out, because we are not logging the data, we are just running the function. So for that we can store this data inside a variable const result. So similarly this is the value of this sum 1 comma 2, and then we can console.log and we can do result. So inside console log, whatever we put, it will show in here. So this is, you can see 1 plus 2 is 3. So that is how we are doing it. Now let me show you the older way of doing it. Okay, now why I am showing you both ways, because in most often you will search in online through ChatGPT or Google, you will find two versions of this JavaScript syntax. So you need to know both of it, so that you can learn and you can find some syntax or some code snippet from internet. So you understand it. Okay, this is the older format, so I can use it in as a newer format, or as it you understand it properly. So that is why you need to know both of it. That is why I am showing you both of it. So okay, so now I am showing you the older way. So I can write here, I have to use the keyword of function. The function, I can name it add curly braces and this, and then I can write return a comma b and return a plus b. And now you can see that we are using a function, but we are not using a fat arrow function. So this is called fat arrow function, and this is the older way. So we are using function keyword, then the name of the function, then a comma b, the parameters, and then curly braces, and we can return. So you see that most of the things are same, just it is using the older way of writing. How to call it? Similar way. So I can write const result 2, because I can't use the same name because it is using const, so I am using it new name. So add, and then I can use 2 3 4, let's say, and then I can console log the result 2. So you can see that this is 7 1, 3 is the previous one. I can comment out also, so it will only show you 7. So 3 plus 4 is 7. Okay, so now we know that how we can write our own function, and we can call it from this bracket. Now you have to understand that JavaScript also provide you a lot of functions, inbuilt functions that we can use. It's called APIs also, JavaScript APIs. So we can use it. So remember in our first video we are using print statement. So what we did is we did print and then the curly braces. So now if we save it, it will just open the print pop-up of the browser. So now you understand that this print is already written on the function. So if I command click on Mac or control click on Windows, you can see the basically function declaration, how it is running. Okay, but basically these functions already written inside JavaScript engine, you are just calling it. So that is how it works. So you have to learn this type of JavaScript function so that you can use it in Bubble or anywhere. Okay, so now I just comment out all of it because you already learned all the basic stuff of JavaScript. Now I will show you that how we can manipulate the DOM using JavaScript. Okay, so first of all, if I do anything like console log hello, so it will directly print out on refresh. So if I refresh, it will print out in console immediately. What if we need to run after 3 seconds, let's say, then how we'll do that? So JavaScript provide a function called set timeout. So it is written as set timeout and function and then curly braces, and then here you can write your code. So for example, I am adding the code here, and then I can add that how many millisecond after it should run. So let's say 300 millisecond, that means 3 seconds. So if I save it, then after 3 seconds it will print it here. So let's see, after 3 seconds it will print hello. Okay, so if I change it to 500, that means 0.5 second. If I refresh, it will print after 500 millisecond. So that's how it works. Now for example, I want to, I have written, let's say, first I have to select first element, let's say. How we will do that? Because you know that in JavaScript I have already show you how you can do that in style, basically in CSS, that you have to use dot and then you can name the class, and then you will get the data. Basically you can adjust, you can set any color, etc. So in CSS you can use like that, but how you can use in JavaScript? So for example, what if I am to select first element, I want to change the background color to red only for first element. How we can do that? For example, I can come here, just comment out this, and I can do like this, like so I have to take the refer the element, I have to find the element from this page, this element. So how can we do that? So const, we can name the element as let's say first input element, and we search via document dot query selector, and we can add the dot OTP input because it is a class, that is why. If I save it, nothing will happen because we are not logging anything. So console log, and if I use first input element, then it will show this element. See, whenever I hover it, it will show the actual element. So this is the same element. Now you can ask that why I am just selecting it, select the first element, why not all the element? Because all the element has the same class. Now thing is, query selector only select the first item that satisfy this condition. If we want all the inputs, then we have to use query selector all. Then it will show you the 4 elements. Let's say this 4 element, wait a second, 1 2 3 4. Okay, but I said that I only want first one, so I can use the query selector one. And then what I want to do, I don't want to log things out, I want to change the background of this element. So first input element dot style, first input element dot style and dot background color, and we can see red. See, the background color is red. Now I can add border is equal to, in CSS we have to use like this, 1 pixel solid red. So it will add the border like this. See, this is added the border, these things. Okay, if I do query selector all, it will give error because then I can't use this style border because this is not a single element. So this style is not matching, this style is only available on single element. So now how we can do it, you have to use loop. Now I don't know if you heard of workflow repeater in Bubble. So basically what workflow repeater on or schedule on a list works is it loop the things inside a list. So this is you can consider it as a list. So this I can name it, you know what, just change it and comment out this so that you can refer to this lastly, and I will provide this whole code in the description so that you will find it. Okay, so it is easier for you to look into that. Okay, now let's see. So basically this is not a single element, so this is all inputs and document selector all. If I console log it, so now this will the all four element. So we have to loop through it. So what in front end in Bubble, what we do is we use a looper function. So it is a looper function or workflow repeater that is said. So you add loop and then it will loop through a list or something like that. So similarly in JavaScript we have a lot of loops like do while loop and for loop, and we also have newer functions like for each, map, etc. So let me show you the simplest loop function that we use. Okay, so what we do is all inputs dot for each, we have a for each function, and then we write the function name. Remember in time set time mode also we are adding a function here. So this is similar to this function, and then instead of in second argument we put the millisecond, but here we don't need it. So here I can if I do console log, and I can put inside loop, you know, this is printed 4 times. This 4 is written, that means it is printed 4 times, but we need the actual element. So for actual element we have to write here the input, so it is taken by first input. So inside a loop we can print out the input itself. So if I save it, then it will print out the 4 inputs, right? So it is looping through these inputs. Now what I have to do is similarly, instead of first input element, we have to do input dot style dot border is equal to 1 pixel solid red. Now you know that all the inputs background color is changed to red because it is looping through each input elements. Okay, that is done. Now we also have a thing called focus. So similar to print, we also has a property named focus inside input. So let's just copy it here, and then we have first input element, and this you know already that this is the first input element that will select it. Now if I do first input element dot focus, this focus element is given by the JavaScript engine. Then save it, then what will happen? If I refresh it, then you can see the first element that is select, it is set to focus. So if I refresh it, it will select the first element. That is exactly what we need in the Bubble editor. So that means we only need these things in script tag inside the Bubble editor to show to focus the first element. So let's see how we can do it. Okay, we have 4 inputs. Now we have to add the class into it. So in previous video I have shown you how you can add a class name. So basically you have to install a plugin called Classify, and then you have to come here and you have to use add class OTP input. That is the flow. So I can copy it out and paste in all 4 so that the class is added in all 4 inputs. Okay, so that's done. Now we have to add the script. Now in previous video I have shown you that if you are on free plan, then you can use a HTML element. Now this is a paid plan, so I can use it inside HTML header. So what I can do is just copy this to code and paste it here. Now remember that you have to use script tag because you are not using a JavaScript file, so you have to use script and then write the JavaScript code inside it. Okay, so this is a script tag, and then you are using this first input element is equal to document.query selector OTP input, and then first input element focus. Now if I just refresh it, now you know that it does not work. This is not as simple as it seems, because it says that cannot read properties of null. Now what is this? It is working on our local system, but it is not working here. Why is that? See how Bubble render the stuff in the page. It does not immediately render all of the data. It render this input element after some time, that is after some millisecond it render the inputs. So but we are running this on page level, so it will run as soon as the page is loaded, but at the time the input element is not rendered by the Bubble. So that means we have to run this after some milliseconds, so that when we run this code the element is already rendered on the page by Bubble. So remember we already show you how you can use set timeout. So let use here. So what I have to use, set timeout and use the function, and then we have to use, let's say 500 millisecond have to run. So you can put this inside same set timeout and then copy the whole code and paste it in Bubble. That means we are focusing this element after 500 millisecond. Let's see if it works or not. Refresh the page. Okay, this is not works because see this is not added inside the script tag, that is why. So this is considered as a text element. So if you want to run as a JavaScript, you have to add the script tags as previously. And if you don't want to do like that, then you can add it as a JavaScript file and put it in AWS S3 or Cloudflare and then use the link here. So that is the good way, but for testing we can use it like that, so that we can change immediately. So let's just refresh this page. See, after I refresh, this autofocus to first element. Now if you want to autofocus the third element for some reason, I don't know, but you want to select the third element, you can easily do that. That is the simplest thing. How you can do that, let's see. So I want to autofocus the first third element instead of first. So what you have to do, you have to use select query selector all, and then you have to use the third one. Now if I use 3, then it will select the fourth element. Let me show you that. If I select it, it is selecting the fourth element. Why is that? Because this is called we are selecting all the input element and we are selecting the third index. So this is not the third number, this is third index. So in JavaScript, indexes start from 0. So this is called 0th element, this is called 1th element, this is second element, this is third element. So the number of element minus 1, you can say that. So for selecting the third element, we have to use index of 2. So if I select index of 2 and select it, and if I refresh it, then this is selecting the third. So let's just use it inside Bubble and let's see if it works or not. I replace it and then see if it is selecting the third input or not. Great, it works. So now what in the next video what we will do is, you remember if I enter anything like 4, 5, 6, 7, it is inputting in the same element. What I want to do is, if I write 1, 2, 3, 4, so it should input like 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that, So whenever we add something, it should go to the next element whenever we add this something. You can see this in plugins, something like that, but our main goal is to do it instead of using any plugin, we will using a JavaScript external JavaScript file. So using JavaScript we will do this, we will do in the next video, because this video is already long, and after that we will build this as a plugin and we will publish into the bubble store so that other people can use our OTP input plugins. So that is our motive for this series. See you in the next video. One more things, if you want if you are running an agency and you want a custom plugin developer, you can hire me. Details are in the description. Thank you.